everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to learn how to make these beautiful shorts to match our previous crochet halter top. So we are going to make them in the same exact colors as the top. If you haven't yet checked out the top, make sure after this video you go check out the top so that you can get yourself this beautiful matching set. So this is in the Brazilian colors. We know we are in the World Cup season. These are the colors that I chose to make for my project. White, blue, yellow and green, and you will just need one ball of each and every color. Each ball that I used was 300 yards, and one ball was just enough to take me through the whole project. So maybe if you're making for a bigger size, you may maybe consider 2 balls for the main color, because it creates the waistband as well as the main portion of our project. For the hook, I used a 3mm crochet hook, and then you also need a darning needle and a pair of scissors, and you will also need a measuring tape. I don't know where mine is at the moment, but I know it's somewhere. You'll need a measuring tape, maybe some charms, maybe some beads that you may be attaching onto the drawstring. And yeah, we already have a written pattern available on all my online shops. And let's get started on this colorful World Cup themed crochet project. I'll be leaving the link to the top in the description box below. Oh, by the way, this is a modification of our crochet wide leg pants. So if you ever thought of making these pants in a pair of shorts, but in multicolors, then this version is for you. We already have a tutorial of the pants as well, and a written pattern. So all that information is going to be in the description box below, so make sure you check it out. So this is the front of the shorts, and then when it comes to the back, we have the same exact thing going on. So this piece is worked in 2 panels that are later on joined, and then the leg holes are extended, the scalloped edge is created, and then we go onto the ribbed waistband that gets a drawstring, and everything comes together really beautifully. So let's get our very first color. For me, that is white. I'm using a light fingering weight yarn for the main body of the piece, and then later on you'll see me doubling my strand for the waistband to make it a little bit firm, and then also for the scalloped edge I used a double strand, plus the drawstring I used a double strand. But for the main body, just to make it light, as you can see here, we don't have a chunk of yarn. For the main body of the piece, I used 1 strand of the fingering weight yarn, and that gave me amazing results, as you can see here. So let's get our very first color. We're going to start off with the white color, which is in the center of our piece. So I'm going to start off with a magic ring. I'm going to wrap my yarn around my 2 fingers, insert my hook, grab the working yarn, remove my fingers, and then I'm going to make a chain. That chain doesn't count as anything, it's just to close off the magic ring. And then you're going to make a chain of 3, which counts as our very first double crochet. Now, after a chain of 3, you're going to go into the magic ring with 2 more double crochets, 1 and 2, and this will form our very first group of 3 double crochets. Now from here, you're going to make a chain of 2, go into the magic ring with 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3. This pattern is explained in US terms. So we've gotten our second group of 3 double crochets, and we want a total of 4 groups of 3 double crochets separated by chain 2 spaces. So make a chain 2 and then 3 double crochets into the magic ring. This is our third group of 3 double crochets. And then make a chain of 2, 3 double crochets into the magic ring. This is our 4th group, and since I said we want a total of 4 groups of 3 double crochets, this marks the end of row 1. We are not working in rounds, we are working in rows. So you're going to pull on the tail of the magic ring to close it off, and this is what your row 1 should look like. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4 groups of 3 double crochets. And now let's go on to row 2. And for row 2, you're going to start off with a chain of 4, and this counts as a double crochet chain 1. Turn your work into the next chain 2 space. You're going to go in there with a shell, and this is 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets into the same exact chain 2 space. So we've just placed a shell into this chain 2 space. You're going to make a chain of 1, and then into the next chain 2 space you're going to place a shell, which is 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets into the same exact chain 2 space. Then you're going to make a chain of 1. Into the next chain 2 space, place a shell, and by now you know what a shell is. 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. And just like that, you're going to make a chain of 1 and then double crochet on top of the last chain 3 of the row, of the previous row. So remember, we started with a chain of 4, which counts as a double crochet chain 1, and we end with a chain of 1, 1 double crochet into the last stitch, just to balance what we have on this side, on this side. So we are done with row 2. Row 3, you're going to start off with a chain of 3, which counts as a double crochet. You're going to turn your work into the chain in the chain 1 space here. The very first chain 1 space, you're going to place 2 more double crochets. So that will count as 3 double crochets, including the chain 3 at the beginning of the row. Then you're going to make a chain of 1. Into the next chain 2 space, you're going to place a shell, which is 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. And then the next one is a chain 1 space. You should notice that from now on we are just going into the spaces. We are not going into the stitches. So after the shell here, you make a chain of 1. And then this is a chain 1 space. Each chain 1 space gets 3 double crochets only, unless otherwise, stated otherwise. So we have our 3 double crochets here. You're going to make a chain of 1. And then into the next chain 2 space. Each chain 2 space gets a shell. So this is a chain 2 space. You're going to place a shell in there. So 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. Okay, so this is what we have. We've crossed over to the opposite side, and you're going to make a chain of 1. So every after the 3 double crochets, you make a chain of 1. Every after a shell, you make a chain of 1. And then this is a chain 1 space. And we've said each chain 1 space gets 3 double crochets only. So we've placed our 3 double crochets there. You're going to make a chain of 1. And then into the next chain 2 space, each chain 2 space gets a shell. So go ahead and place your shell, 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets into the same exact space. And then you're going to make a chain of 1. In the last chain 4 space, you're going to go in there with 3 double crochets, and that will mark the end of row 3. This is what you're going to have. So we're going on to row 4. For row 4, you're going to start off with a chain of 4 and turn your work. So you're going to go into the next chain 1 space. This is a chain 1 space, and in each chain 1 space, remember, we place only 3 double crochets, just like that. And then you're going to make a chain of 1. Every after 3 double crochets, you make a chain of 1. Every after a shell, you make a chain of 1. Keep that in your mind. So after a chain of 1, this is a chain 2 space. So you're going to go into the chain 2 space with a shell, which is 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets into the same space. So remember, after a shell, you make a chain of 1. And then the next one is a chain 1 space. You're going to go in there with 3 double crochets. And remember, after 3 double crochets, you make a chain of 1. So make your chain of 1. This is a chain 1 space, and each chain 1 space gets 3 double crochets. And then make a chain of 1. This is a chain 2 space, and it will get a shell. And then make a chain of 1. This is a chain 1 space. It will get 3 double crochets. Chain 1. This is a chain 1 space, and it will get 3 double crochets. Chain 1. This is a chain 2 space, and it will get a shell. So place a shell into that chain 2 space. This is a chain 2 space, so it gets a shell. Just like that, you're going to make a chain of 1, and then this is a chain 1 space. You're going to go into it with 3 double crochets. And then at the end of the row, you're going to make a chain of 1 and double crochet on top of the chain 3 at the end of the previous row. And just like that, we are done with our row 4. This is what we have. So you should notice that we have 3 corners. Leave alone the flat edge. We have a corner here, a corner here, and a corner here. And that's exactly where we place our shells, in the chain 2 spaces. Those are going to create the corners. So alright guys, now I'm going to switch to my next color. I'm going to make a chain of 1 and cut my yarn. Feel free to use a plain color if you wish. But for me, I'm going to switch colors because I want to match the same exact vibe as my halter top that I already have here. So I'm going to attach my yarn where I left off. I chained 1 and cut my yarn and then pulled through. So I'm going to turn my work so that I'm working in the opposite direction of the previous row, and I'm going to attach my yarn in that very last stitch of the previous row. So this is row 5, and row 5 is basically going to resemble row 3. You're going to make a chain of 3, and into the very first chain 1 space, you're going to place 2 more double crochets to make a total of 3 double crochets, including the chain 3 at the beginning of the row. Chain 1, this is a chain 1 space, so it will get 3 double crochets, and then make a chain of 1. This is a chain 2 space, and it will get a shell. And then make a chain of 1. Into the chain 1 space, you're going to place 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space. So you're going to just repeat this until you get to your next chain 2 space. So after this, you're going to make a chain of 1, and into the chain 2 space, you're going to place a shell, which is 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. And just like that, we've crossed over to the opposite side. You're going to make a chain of 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space, and repeat that until you get to your next chain 2 space. Chain 1, 3 double crochets in the next chain 1 space, chain 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space, and then make a chain of 1. This is a chain 2 space at the corner, so it will get 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets into the same exact space. So that will create a shell and maintain the corner, as you can see. So after this, you're going to make a chain of 1 into the next chain 1 space. You're going to place 3 double crochets, chain 1, and into the last chain 4 space, you're going to go in there with 3 double crochets. All right, so I'm going to leave timestamps behind so that you can repeat rows 4 and 5. Keep alternating between rows 4 and 5 until this measurement right here, this one across our panel, is half of your hip circumference when slightly stretched. So far I have 7 inches and I want a total of 20 inches because that's half of the hip circumference that I am considering for my piece. So feel free to switch colors at any one point, depending on the effect, the color effect that you want to create for your piece. Just keep alternating between rows 4 and 5 again and again until you get that measurement to be half of your hip circumference. And I'll meet you back when I have that ready. Alright guys, I kept alternating between rows 4 and 5 and also kept switching colors at different points, and I've done a total of 4 rows of each and every color. For me, that's the color scheme that I am going to follow, and as you can see, we have about 18 inches without stretching, but when slightly stretched we can get to half of our hip circumference, which is 20 inches, as you can see here. So I'm going to finish up this row with a double crochet here, and I have a total of 16 rows to get to this point, but you can be at any point depending on the size that you're making for. So from here you're going to make a chain of 1. Once you get this to slightly stretch to your hip circumference, you don't want to overstretch your work, otherwise the shape of this panel will be distorted. So give it a slight stretch to your half of the hip circumference, and after your last stitch you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn, leaving behind a tail to attach the panels together. So make a chain of 1, cut your yarn and pull through. So this marks the end of our very first panel. This is what we have. Now you're going to go ahead and make the same exact panel. Mine is here, as you can see, something very identical to what we had before. So you're going to make 2 panels that look exactly the same. And then we're going to go ahead and attach the sides of our piece. So to do that, you're going to make sure that your lower panel The lower panel is facing the wrong side, and then the upper panel is facing the right side up. And I can tell that by the last row that I placed. So you can see this, the right side of this one is on the downer side, then the right side of this one is on the upper side. So you're going to get your darning needle, and using the tail that you left behind after finishing your last row, you're going to go into each and every stitch. And you start attaching from this top corner up to here. So go into the chain one space and into each and every stitch. What we are doing right now is attaching the sides of our piece. Into the chain one space and into each and every stitch on the side. And I'm using the same exact color that I used for the last row. And this is what we have. We have a seam line here. And for this last part, I'm just going to go into the chain space, into the chain, and attach. And this is what we have, guys. This is what our seam line looks like. We're going to repeat the same exact process for the opposite side. So go ahead and get your darning needle and join from this upper corner all the way down, and I'll meet you back when I'm through with that. We are done attaching the sides of our piece, as you can see here. Now you're going to get a short strand of the same exact color as the base color, which is green for my sample, and you're going to go into the chain two space at the base here, pull through that strand, and we are going to attach this middle section of our piece. So just make a double knot or a triple knot, whichever is suitable for you. So right now we have created the leg holes of our piece. You can see the pair of shorts has been created. Now we are going to go ahead and kind of create more coverage towards the bottom part of our shorts. Alright guys, I have some yarn here, and it's the yarn that I'm going to use for the bottom part of our shorts. And we're going to attach our yarn onto one of the leg holes, because we have created two leg holes. So I am going to attach my yarn into the chain two space in the center of one of the panels. And then actually I'm going to make sure I'm working in the opposite direction of the previous row. So I'm going to turn my work and attach my yarn in the chain two space where we attached a strand of yarn to join the midsection of the shorts. So I'm attaching my yarn there on one side of the panels, and I'm going to make a chain of 3, which counts as a double crochet, and then go into the space between the two panels with 1 double crochet, and then 1 double crochet in the chain two space of the second panel. So this counts as 3 double crochets. Then from here you're going to make a chain of 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space. So basically we are going to repeat this all the way around until we get back to the beginning of the round. You're going to go around the leg hole. Now let me first flip over my work like this. What we are doing right now is working around one of the leg holes. Chain 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space, so you're going to repeat this all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the end of the round and show you how to wind up. So at this point you can decide to still bring back the colors to create that multicolored effect, but for me I think this will be the main color and I don't want it to be so dramatic when it comes to the colors. So I think for me the lower part as well as the waistband is going to be this green color. We're going to stick to the green color from now on to create the edging as well as elongate the shorts a little bit to get some more length. But feel free to switch colors if you wish. Alright guys, when you reach the side seam line, I want to demonstrate how you can cross over to the other side. After placing 3 double crochets in this chain 1 space, you're going to make a chain of 1 and then place 1 double crochet in the chain 2 space of this shell at the end of this first panel, and then place 1 double crochet in the middle of the 2 panels where we have the seam line, and then 1 double crochet in the chain 2 space of the second panel. So that way we have placed 3 double crochets in this space around here along the seam line, and then make a chain of 1 and double crochet 3 times in the next chain 1 space. Chain 1, 3 double crochets in the next chain 1 space. So just go ahead and finish up this round, and I'll meet you back at the beginning of the round. Alright, so we're coming to the end of the round and I'm placing my last 3 double crochets in the last chain 1 space. This is what we have. You can see now we have 5 rows of green here, but 4 rows of green here. This is because we are first working on one of the leg holes before we go to the second one. So after placing 3 double crochets in the last chain 1 space, you're going to make a chain of 1 and slip stitch on top of the chain 3 at the beginning of the round. So that's how you wind up your round. And then you're going to make a chain of 3, which counts as a double crochet, turn your work. And then in the same first chain 1 space, you're going to place 2 more double crochets to make a total of 3, counting the chain 3 as one of the stitches. And then continue to chain 1, 3 double crochets in the next chain 1 space. Chain 1, 3 double crochets in the next chain 1 space. So repeat that all the way around, and once you place 3 double crochets in the last chain 1 space of the round, you will make a chain of 1 and slip stitch on top of the chain 3 at the beginning of the round, just like we did for the previous round. And you're just going to keep repeating round 2, this round that we are working right now. You're going to just keep repeating it until you get the length of the shorts that you want. I'll meet you back when I've gotten my desired length, and I'll let you know how many rounds that I ended up doing after joining the midsection of our shorts. And then we shall do the final touches. Also cross over to the opposite side to see exactly how to go about that side as well. Alright guys, so I went ahead to do a total of let me see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 rounds. After joining the midsection of the shorts, I've done a total of 6 rounds. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, which brings me to a total of 10 rows right after the yellow. So I have a total of 10 downwards, and from here I'm just going to make a chain of 1 and cut my yarn. We shall come back to this spot when we are doing the edging. And for the edging, I want to use a double strand just to make it more solid, just as you can see what we did for the halter top. You can see that edging is really bold and solid. So I want to bring back this same exact edging at the base of the shorts so that we can create this matching set that looks almost similar. So from here, you're going to go on to let me just take a measurement here for reference purposes. For those who want to make the same exact piece as mine, I have about 8 inches from the top of the shorts all the way down. I have about 8 inches, and in the midsection I have a total of about 11 inches. Remember, this short is shorter towards the side and longer in the midsection. So I have about 11 here, but 8 here along the side. So I'm going to get my yarn and attach it on the opposite leg hole that hasn't yet been worked on. Let me zoom out a little bit so that you can see exactly what's going on. So you can see this side is longer than this side. So we're going to go ahead and balance exactly what we have here onto this side. So we're going to attach our yarn so that we are working in the opposite direction of the previous row. So we are attaching in the middle of the shorts. So this is the opposite direction of the previous row, and I'm going into the chain to space of this shell at this point, into the chain to space, and I'm going to attach my yarn, then make a chain of 3, and then you're going to go in between the panels, go in there with a double crochet just like we did for the previous leg hole, and then go into the chain to space of the shell on the opposite panel. So that will count as 3 double crochets here. Make a chain of 1 and 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space. Just make sure you're working in the opposite direction of the previous round. So you can see this round is moving towards this side, so I'm working in the opposite direction of the round, and continue to chain 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space. Just keep doing this all the way around, and when you get to the end of the round, when you get to this point, you make 3 double crochets here, chain 1 and slip stitch on top of the chain 3 at the beginning of the round. Then chain 3, turn your work, and repeat round 2 of the leg holes. Just keep repeating that round until you get the same exact length or the same number of rounds of the green color on this side, the same number of rounds as the first leg hole. So let me go ahead and balance the 2 leg holes, and I'll be back to show you what my work looks like, and then we shall go onto the edging as well as the waistband. Alright guys, after balancing both legs, this is what you're going to have. This is very pretty, by the way. Let me try to zoom out so that you can see the whole look of the shorts. Oh my god, this is so cute. So we're going to get a double strand now, and we're going to create a scalloped edge at the base of our shorts. We're going to make a slip knot, and we're going to attach in any chain 1 space. making sure that we are working on the right side of our piece. You're going to attach your yarn in any chain one space. Sorry. You're going to make a chain of 3, and into the same space you're going to go in there with 3 double crochets. And just like that, we have created our first scallop, and then you're going to double crochet into the next chain one space, and then 1 double crochet into the next chain one space. So let's do that again. Chain 3, double crochet 3 times into the same space, and then 1 double crochet into the next chain one space, and 1 double crochet into the next chain one space. So you're going to do that all the way around the leg hole, the base of the leg hole. So at this point I've done several scallops, and let's see how the base looks like. Guys, look at how beautiful this is playing out. So you're going to go all the way around the leg hole until the beginning of the round, and I'll meet you back here and show you what to do next. Alright guys, I've made it all the way around the base of the shorts, and when you make it all the way around, you're going to just slip stitch into the space that has the very first scallop, and then you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn. So I'm going to take this chance to get rid of all the loose ends on my piece before we go onto the waistband. You're going to go ahead and do the same exact thing on the opposite side. You can see the subtle scalloped edge that is being created at the base of the piece. Alright guys, now that we've gotten rid of all the loose ends, this is what we have. Now we're going to go ahead and create the waistband, and I'm still using the same exact color as my base color. I decided that green will be my main color, and I'm going to use a double strand so that we can also get a firm waistband. So you're going to attach your yarn in any row. I prefer to start from the mid back of the shorts. The fact that we have the same exact thing going on, you're going to just decide which side you want to be the back side, and you're going to attach your yarn in any row, just like that. And then you're going to make a chain of 3, which counts as a double crochet. Now you're going to go into the same exact row with 1 double crochet, and you're going to continue to place 2 double crochets in each and every row after that. 2 double crochets in each row all the way around. The fact that we are using a double strand, we are not going to be shrinking the top of the shorts, so it's just going to remain flat. 2 double crochets in each and every row using your main color or any color of your choice. So this is what we have. You can see it's not putting any strain on our project. So basically this waistband color is going to clean up the edge perfectly well. As opposed to having different colors on the edge, we now have a solid color that's running around the top of the shorts, and it's going to kind of tame the stretchiness of the top part of the shorts, as well as clean up the top edge. So let's go ahead and keep working until we come back to the beginning of the round, and I'll show you what to do next. Alright, so we're coming to the end of the round, and this is exactly what we have. You can see the clean green edge. You would have maybe chosen a blue or a yellow or a white, whichever color would have cleaned up the top of the shorts. So after placing 2 double crochets into the last row of the piece of the waistband, you're going to go into the top. So we're going to place a slip stitch into the top of the first chain 3 of the round. This marks the end of the first round of the waistband. You can even go ahead and just leave it at this, but for us we're going to do a few more rounds, maybe 1 or 2, depending on the thickness of the waistband that we want for our shorts. So you're going to make a chain 3 and place a front post double crochet into the next stitch. So you're going to yarn over, place your stitch under the next double crochet, and double crochet as usual. That's a front post double crochet, and then into the next stitch you're going to yarn over, go to the back of the stitch, the next stitch, and push it to the back and double crochet. So that's a back post double crochet. You're going to keep alternating between front post double crochet and back post double crochet all the way around. So I've run out of yarn and I need to connect some more yarn onto my project. I'm going to just make a normal knot. Alright, so this is a back post, so the next is a front post double crochet. So our main goal here is to create a ribbed effect. Back post double crochet into the next, front post double crochet into the next, and back post double crochet into the next. So keep alternating between the 2 stitches all the way around. So you should notice that the front post double crochet pushes the stitch to the front, and then the back post double crochet pushes the stitch to the back, and that's how we are able to get this ribbed effect. You can see it forming. So keep alternating between the 2 stitches all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the end of the round, show you what to do next. So after a few stitches of the front and back post double crochet, this is what you should get. It's creating a ribbed effect for our waistband. Alright, so we've made it all the way around. This is round 2 of the waistband, and you can see how it's gathering the top part of the shorts. It's no longer as wide as it was before. So once you place your last stitch, I'm actually ending with a back post double crochet, and then I'm going to make a slip stitch on top of the first chain 3. It doesn't matter what you end with, it can be a front post or a back post double crochet, and then you make a slip stitch into the top of the first chain 3 of the round. Now we're going to go onto our very last round. You can leave your shirt at this level if you wish, but for me I usually do 3 rounds for my waistband so that the drawstring can go into the middle round. So that's usually my aim. So you're going to make a chain of 3 and make a front post double crochet in every front post and a back post double crochet in every back post double crochet from the previous round. And this is going to keep the ridges of the ribbing in a straight line, and it's going to emphasize the ribbing a little bit more than the previous round. So let's keep alternating between the front and back posts and we see how that progresses to create the ribbing and also emphasize it a little bit more. Alright, so after a few stitches, this is what we have, and you can see the ribbing is really like very clear right now. The ribbing of the waistband. Let me know in the comment section if you like what you see so far, and don't forget to like this video if you're getting any value from it. Don't forget to subscribe and show some support for this channel if you've learned anything new, if you've ever learned anything new from the channel. So I noticed so many people are not yet subscribed. Even after getting millions of views per month, I'm getting so many people that are not yet subscribed. So you're missing out on some great content. So this is what we have. I'm going to go all the way around until the beginning of the round, and I'll show you what I'll have. Alright guys, we've come to the end of our third round, and I'm placing a back post double crochet into the last back post double crochet from the previous round. And then I'm going to make a slip stitch on top of the chain 3 at the beginning of the round. Just make a slip stitch there, make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn, pull through, and then you can get rid of these loose ends as well. Alright, so all the loose ends are off the project, and let me zoom out a little bit so that you can get the bigger picture of what's happening. We have worked the main body, which is the 2 panels of our shorts. Then we extended the leg holes in order to create more coverage towards the back, towards the bottom side of the shorts. Then we created this scalloped edge, which looks really pretty. And then we went ahead to create the waistband of our shorts. And now we are going to make a drawstring that is going to gather these shorts to make them even more snatched around the waist. So you can use maybe an elastic strand, but for me, I'm going to just make a chain in the same exact color. You can use any color of your choice. And you're going to just make a simple chain that can wrap around our waistline and even beyond. So I'm going to make a chain of about 250 because I want the strings to hang and yeah, to be way beyond the waistline circumference. So just make a very long chain, and we are going to weave it into the waistband of our project. Alright guys, I've made a very long chain. I believe this is even beyond 250 chains. I just made use of all the yarn that was left because why not? I was literally done with using the green color. I'm not going to use it for anything else. So I'm going to locate the back side of my piece. That's where I started the waistband from. And we're going to start weaving in and out of every 2 stitches, starting from the center front of the shorts, and we're going into the middle round of the waistband. We're going into the middle round of the waistband, which is the second round, but we are going in and out of every 2 stitches using a darning needle, and we're going to weave in this drawstring all the way around until we come back to the center front of our shorts. Alright guys, we've made it all the way around the waistband, and this is what we have. This is going to be able to gather this in order to have your shorts even much better fitted if you want a tight fitting around the waistband. But if you don't want that, this can be stretched out so that we can get a wider fitting. So you're going to make a knot, and you can go ahead to attach some beautiful beads at the base of the chain. I'm not going to do that, but you can attach tassels or beads or whichever charm that you wish to attach. And that marks the end of this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're going to make it in any color of your choice, and I hope you subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to check out the written pattern on all my online shops. And let's see the final look of our project. Bye guys, thanks for watching.